the state of Black culture heading into 2025. Now, if you're not a Black person, maybe you're someone that's white, Hispanic, Asian, it doesn't matter your race or ethnicity. This is something that we can agree is affecting the whole entire world, especially when it comes to the youth. Black culture is been something for the past few decades that has set the standard on what is cool. And while there are some good parts of it, especially when it comes to the creativity, there is a lot of self-destructive aspects of Black culture. But to understand where we're going and where we're headed when it comes to 2025, we have to understand how we got here. Now, of course, this starts with slavery and the dysphoria and the fact that cultures were stripped from people. And mind you, there were many different nations that had slavery throughout their history. But when it comes to American slavery and just slavery in the West, there was a lot of emphasis on stripping the people of their cultures and their languages. So most of us, when we talk about Black people, like, yeah, I am a mixed descent. I have some indigenous ancestors. I have some Caucasian ancestors. It is what it is, right? But most of us, we don't know our original culture. So through that and through the trauma, we kind of built our own culture. And, it started out as something that was more so about unity, whether it's rap or whether it's just the way we dress, the way we create certain things and come up with certain ideas, has turned into something that is very self-destructive. Now, as some of y'all know, I have traveled to multiple different countries and I've seen this influence in almost every ethnicity, right? You see it in the Asian youth, you see it in the Hispanic youth. A lot of these countries, they might not even speak English, but they're listening to the music, they're playing the songs, they're dressing in the urban style that Black culture has created. Also, they are participating in some of the dangerous aspects like the promotion of degeneracy, being promiscuous, using drugs, and also even the victim mentality, which is probably the worst part of it when it comes to Black culture. Really, those are the main two factors when it comes to the self-destruction and just the part of it that makes it bad, right? The part of it that makes it something to where if you are somebody that does entertain the culture a lot, it's gonna probably lead you into the wrong direction. We have a culture of gossiping, a culture of gluttony, greed, feeling like we have that like crabs in a barrel mentality to where we have to pull somebody else down to push ourselves up. Also a culture of consumerism, which is, that's kind of everywhere, but it's a big emphasis on Black people to spend money that we don't have, to spend money on liabilities instead of assets, to spend money just to try to quote unquote keep up with the Jones, to look as good as our neighbors, right? And I believe in 2025, if you do want to prosper, then yeah, I see a lot of videos, right, of people saying like why they left Black culture or why they're leaving it. And to me, I think they do have some valid points, but I do think it's not more so just about telling people that you're leaving it and, you're trying to like disown it. I think it's just about seeing it for what it is, keeping the parts of it that are, good and positive, like the fact that we are influential and the fact that we do have a lot of creative power. Those are two great aspects, and just more so leaning into that and leaning away from the degenerate aspects of partying, drinking, entertaining drugs and promiscuity, degrading ourselves as men and women. We need to move away more so from those aspects and just lean into the positive aspects. I am definitely not some, okay, let's save the culture type of person. That's definitely not me. I'm more so of the mindset that, do be an example for your tribe, the people that you have around you. Because truth is, most people don't want to be saved. Most people don't want to be helped. You're gonna be fighting a losing battle if you are trying to get every Black person on the right page instead of you just being a good example for the people that are around you and allowing that energy to kind of spread. Be a light in the darkness. As people would say. This is easier said than done, especially if you are a Black person or just someone like that's a kid or a teenager and you have all these influences around you telling you that, maybe you should try this, maybe you should entertain this stuff, and those things probably aren't the best for you, then yeah, it's going to be a little bit difficult. But if you understand the energies that a lot of these things bring, and just the fact that most people are just sitting around destroying themselves and wasting their time, and they just entertaining a lot of things that just distract themselves, then you will have a leg up, especially going into 2025, where the distractions are only going to get worse. Yeah, we have certain entities that are trying to like fight against these things, but for the most part, when it comes to Black culture, it's not going anywhere. And there are two sides of it. There is the side of it that revolutionary side that doesn't get um, promoted to the mainstream as much anymore, and it's because most of our leaders that did speak out in the 80s, 70s, and 90s, they were killed, right? While now a lot of people feel like in Black culture, the leaders are the entertainers, which entertainers were never really supposed to be leaders. Like, yeah, there are some great entertainers that did have some revolutionary ways, or just have ways that in which they like fought for civil rights and things like that. But for the most part, we were not supposed to be looking at entertainers for leadership. And that's kind of one of the major things which led it into the wrong direction. Yeah, man, my final thoughts: no matter what race you are, Black culture is going to be there. It's going to be influential. There are places like North Korea and maybe Russia that it hasn't really touched much, but I would probably still argue that the wealthy youth in those places, they are entertaining it somewhat, at least listening to the music, buying the clothes, and being influenced in some way. But it's really about us as individuals, and Black faces that do speak on certain subjects to just to continue to lead into the right direction, because it doesn't matter which race, which culture you look at. It's always going to be a good side and a bad side to it, no matter what, right? We can look at Mexico and say like, okay, I can go to this part of Mexico. I can see these very cultural, these historic people, but I also see the side of that, it does promote a lot of drinking, and, they do have cartels and certain things. So, it's both sides to it, literally everywhere. It's just about what you yourself choose to entertain at the end of the day. Parents, get on the right page so you can end up protecting your kids, because, you want to be in a position where if you don't want to send your kid to a public school where they're going to be influenced by some of these things, or that they're going to want to listen to certain songs that might not be the best for them just because people around them are listening to, you want to get into a place where you are as wealthy and as affluent as possible, so you can control a lot of these factors, like maybe you homeschool your kid or put them in a private school, or create some type of community that is not really promoting the degeneracy to the kids. As far as Black culture, I believe it just is what it is at this point. I don't think anybody's going to be able to change it. If you want to leave from it, move away from it, then do that. If you don't, if you like it, hey, I ain't tripping. I ain't going to stop your party. Go crazy, do your drugs and all that stuff. I'm just here to provide some insight and just provoke certain conversations. But that's really all I got on it. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out my Patreon if you want a few extra videos a week. And as always, love y'all. I'm out.